It's afternoon here. It's actually pretty late afternoon here. And this is a little odd for this time. Straighten it up for me to be doing the video. But I wanted to take this time to I don't know if this is probably one of those dreaded disclaimer things that I hate having to do. Because we all should be able to, get on and do our videos and talk about our own practice without having to say ands, ifs, or buts. It's the ands, ifs, or buts that become monotonous. But anyway, here we are. I had already written some things down that I wanted to say. And then today, I did a little bit more. I don't know if I repeated myself or anything, but sometimes you have to repeat yourself. Because, it's proven again and again and again, and I'm sure everyone sees it. Everyone gets something different from your content, from your videos. No one gets the same thing. Very seldom happens. But the first thing I had written all down, I don't like having to do a lot of ums. I don't like having to search for what I want to say. So I'll write it down. And that also helps the video be, the content, what I'm exactly trying to say. So I know that people get upset when I say something like, Love and Light isn't considered witchcraft by myself. I don't have to consider Love and Light as witchcraft. I personally don't have to do that. And I guess it's because I'm drawing that boundary in a space where a lot of people don't like boundaries. I don't know. And I don't feel wrong for saying that. My worldview isn't the mainstream that is in modern witchy circles. It's just not. Is that saying I've not been there? You know better than that. You know I've been there. And in the beginning, I thought that there was what it all was. I literally did. But I have learned things. I learned there was historical stuff. There's some historical stuff, this, but until you really look at it and read about it and stuff, you don't know, And many of the modern witchcraft community online, this is what I'm talking about. They were, at least in the beginning, shaped by Wicca. If not online, then, personal wise. You're shaped by Wicca. You're shaped by the New Age spirituality. And I can understand this because, like I said, they were a huge influence on me because I truly thought that was witchcraft in a nutshell in the beginning. But then as I read more, widely, and researched, I learned more. And, that doesn't happen for everyone. Some people can read the same things I do, and they're like, well, I want to stay this way. That's fine. And esoteric ceremonial magic, literally, this is new. Okay? This one, I just got this. Okay? But that's the scholar in me. Okay? It's just like with getting all these decks and everything, and then you want to know the decks. And the same goes for books for me. And I guess I want to know about things. And, these things that it lists on the back that is in there. I want to know these things, what it says about them. And then I want to compare that to what I research. Am I going to use anything in this book? Probably not. I may compare it to older stuff, maybe see where this actually came from, But I'm building a library, and it's not just, things that are only what I'm going to use, because I have older things here and I'm not getting rid of them. I still reference things in them. My daughter is just beginning in things and she doesn't know really what path she's going. She could change, she could want to know about something after she hears something, especially at the place she's working now, where she's exposed to especially the New Age spirituality. So it's there if and when she wants it. I have a granddaughter that may be influenced. I have friends that may be influenced. I want to look through your books. Anybody. I may donate this to where my daughter works later on. Who knows? And then also there's this heavy emphasis on positivity. This healing and this high vibes only. Like, it really wasn't that long ago when that was like really everywhere. And I literally, high vibes only, and I stressed myself out with that bullshit. Real life just doesn't work that way. Not mine anyway. And I'm stating my preference and opinions, but I'm also challenging the dominant narrative. And people, they don't seem to like when the worldview is challenged. Am I talking to you especially? No. Could I be talking to anyone particular in the actual immediate community? No, I may not. But there's other people out there, it's like, they don't know. They're getting into this. Are there other worldviews? Maybe sometimes they need to know there's other worldviews. But some people will have this worldview that's, they've built their identity around it. Okay? And my identity was built around certain of these worldviews. This is the way I wanted to go. And I just simply learned more. And then I let go of some of it. A lot of it. And you have to be able to speak about it. And so to some of these people, I probably sound like I'm invalidating their path. That I don't know how, but gatekeeping, because sometimes I feel like that's not seen as what it really is, my opinion, in some instances. And then I'm being negative or dark. And what I'm actually doing is defining my craft based on history that I read, folklore that I find, and a lived practice from that. Not what the modern spiritual trends are. And that's something that I'm always working on, especially lately, and weeding out and making it, now that I'm in my later years, more of what I want it to actually reflect. It's like that saying, you do you. And I'm telling you, you do you, dear heart. I don't care. I don't care. But this is my path and it can't reflect you. The same way that I don't expect yours to reflect me. I don't expect that. I don't want it. But it doesn't make sense for me to come on here and talk about what you believe in. General you, okay? Can we have some discernment? You have to do that for yourself. You have to get onto your own channel or social media or whatever it is, your soapbox, whatever it is, and you have to talk about what you believe in, and then we listen to you. And that's how we get to know you and where you're coming from. I mean, isn't that what it's supposed to be? Now, my view is legitimate. And I'm striving to have it grounded historically as much as I can. It is a missionary because it's important to me at this stage in my life. And I want it practical. I want it spirit driven. I want it reciprocal, liminal. I want it rooted in my land with ancestors that I look to and familiar spirits. And I want it morally complex. All the other practices are valid in themselves and to who is walking them. But they are not the same thing as tradcraft. And I'm not wrong. I'm just speaking from a different perspective, such as you do. I'm here to affirm my stance. I acknowledge that other paths, but they're not mine to endorse. I can only speak from my path. And my path is crooked. It's not going to fit neatly into the modern spiritual culture. Now, I can't be responsible for anyone's discomfort. I can only be responsible for my truth. Now, that is what I wrote the other day. And today, I feel like this maybe went a little bit deeper. It's still going to have the same thought process, but it's a little bit more. Because I want to get this. This is setting my boundary. And I thought at first that I was struggling with this boundary issue that's become a big topic lately. But in actuality, what I'm doing is reclaiming authority over my own craft after years of being expected to dilute it, soften it, or make it palatable for people who don't walk my path. And that came through a lot in things that I wrote. That I'm still doing that, but it's for me, apparently, and for future generations of mine to have and do with what they will. I'm not going to be universalizing paths here. I'm a traditional witch, called so by my own choice. And that's what I will speak on. That will, however, include paths that are under the tradcraft umbrella, so to speak. Ones that I may not wholly do, probably parts of, but because they're under the tradcraft umbrella, I probably will speak on them. And so the first thing, my craft is not up for group consensus. That's the boundary I'm setting. My path of tradcraft, I'm saying that tradcraft because it's easier than traditional witchcraft every flipping time. Tradcraft. It's not going to be this buffet where anyone gets to vote on what should or should not belong. This is not a community approved aesthetic. I'm allowed to say that this is my path and that it has a structure and a history and requirements, and it's not interchangeable with modern eclectic practices. Now, these are statements made also to myself as I am working on being more authentic with what I want to be in it. And there's a lot that I'm peeling away and replacing with. Okay? I spent years being the nice witch who just nodded politely while others insisted that all witchcraft is the same, and believing in certain laws and that curses shouldn't be a thing. I've even heard stuff like, "Those are scary spirits, please don't talk about that." My favorite has always been, "You should be more positive." Also, second favorite, "That's too dark." I seem to always try to set my place and get influenced by others because I don't want to be left out. Or try to please others with a direction that I really don't want to go. Okay? Like this winter, I was really feeling the cruelness. Okay? I was really feeling it. And that comes in the winter time. For a lot of us, it comes in the winter time. And then when you get into the spring, It's different. It's a different feeling. It's a lighter feeling. You know, you got stuff to do outside. You can't be going around feeling like a crone. And I don't feel like one right now in this season. I don't know. Oh, I have a cat outside on my AC. That's what it's squeaking is. Still trying to make someone else other than myself happy, basically. It's like coming out strong, making that statement, trying to do this, that, or the other, and then, yeah. But you know, I don't have to agree with you for us to coexist. We hear that a lot. But I don't feel like it's really stuck other than just saying it. I've never seen it follow through exactly to being like a real thing. And I'm not attacking anyone's path. I'm not going to. You're just not going to overwrite mine. I can define what witchcraft means to me without having to apologize for it. For me, my path is land spirits, ancestors, familiar spirits, folk rites, trance, offerings, practical magic, and the liminal role of a witch. That's as I understand it. From historical, culturally grounded definition. Because we can all find a different definition. And we can all nitpick over someone else's definition. I don't understand why. Now, it's perfectly fine for each person to state, I believe in this, I believe in this, and I believe in this. But I don't think that's a thing, and I don't think that's a thing. Because that's your boundaries you're putting out there. That's your belief system you're putting out there. And you're allowed to do that. Everyone is. Because how boring is it for us all to just be on the same path and agree about everything? I like listening to other people's, you want to call it UPG? It all is. This stuff wasn't already existing before us. Not the thought processes. We didn't just appear here and it's like, oh, all these books are written. This is what it is. This is how it goes. No. One person had this thought about something, another person liked it, and I've said this before, and they're like, oh, I like that, I'll join in. Then later on, it's like, well, I'm kind of looking this way now, so I'm going to go this way. I'm going to the left. You can go to the right if you want. I'm going to the left. Then you got people who want to keep going straight down the middle. That's fine. Some people want to go up. Some people want to go down. Right, left, center, whatever floats your boat or sinks it. And all of this is what witchcraft means in my tradition that I just spoke about. And I don't want to talk about what it means for everyone else. Why would I do that? I've done it before. Yes, and a lot of people do. I don't want to talk about the only correct way. There's only one correct way for me, and that's wherever the hell I am on my path at that moment. We're allowed to change tomorrow. We're allowed to change in the next hour. This is my craft. And I do not want to plan. I'm not going to dilute it like I have before to make somebody else comfortable. That's a boundary. I'm not responsible for anyone's discomfort. I can't hold myself back. I know some will say, well, what you do off camera, that's no. I need to be able to speak. Everyone needs to be able to speak on their practice as they do it in public. Otherwise, there is no point. My views may challenge assumptions. Everyone's may challenge assumptions. Anyone's can threaten this aesthetic version of witchcraft. Anyone's can remind someone else that the craft has teeth. Anyone can say the path isn't clean, safe, or commercial. I don't feel it's clean, I don't feel it's safe, and I don't want mine to be commercial. I may not center someone's comfort. Okay? And someone will get upset about something I said. That discomfort is not my burden. Someone's feelings about my path, that's theirs to manage. And you manage that in several different ways. You're like, okay, well, I don't agree with her on that, but, you know, I really like hearing her talk about her path and stuff, so we're just going to let it go. Or, I understand her point of view. I have a different one. Maybe I'll talk about it on my own channel. We got to stop demanding that from each other. Either we're different people on different paths and that's okay, or it's all just bullshit. It's got to be more than lip talk, okay? I want to reclaim my voice instead of avoiding conflict by just shutting up and complying with everything. You know, that happens, like I said, with my writing twice now. Twice. And I told you about that when I started it again, or reading it again. That's twice now. Same flipping thing. So my stance is now that I'm clear. I'm grounded. I'm trying to be historically informed, spiritually rooted, and unapologetic about it. I'm going to speak about my craft without shrinking, and I don't expect any less from anyone else. My path is not universal. No one's path should be universal. And I'm not going to say that it is. I'm not going to say mine's the only way. Mine's the true way. Mine's the cleanest way. Mine's the safest way. Mine's the most chaotic way. Mine's the most spiritual way. There's no such thing. And I'm not going to be sitting there saying, you know, everyone's right. I don't have that answer. Everything is witchcraft. All I know is what's witchcraft to me. And that all practices are equal. How can our practices all be equal? They're not the same. They don't have the same outcomes. They don't look for the same outcomes. And I'm not here to validate anyone else. And when it comes to my actual path and stuff, I don't want anyone to validate me. If you agree, that's great. If you want to know more, fantastic. Right now, I'm going to ask you, are you listening to understand me? Are you listening to respond? Because there are certain things spiritual-wise, which is why I don't go that way anymore. I thought it was a thing. I thought it was everything. What is it? Karma, positive. You know, I'm going to say it, love and light. All these different things. That is not universal. And it's not my culture. I'm not Buddhist. I mean, I literally want to search now. It's like, who found the first crystal, or just one day discovered, hey, these all things have this kind of power and we can use it here. Like, who did that? And then who decided that was universal? So my path has its own shape. Everyone's path has their own shape. And history and backbone, or not. I mean, as far as history, you could make all that shit up if you wanted to, all by yourself. Just create a whole nother thing. But it's not universal. And it doesn't have to be. And there's no way it can be. And that doesn't mean I'm excluding anyone. It means I'm protecting my own path, validating myself. And as a community, we can respect each other and still not expect ourselves from each other. We should listen and learn about each other. And then go light your own candle. And I expect no less from you. Don't expect less from me. Okay? And I know there are some they didn't understand a word of that. All they saw was, you're invalidating me, you're being negative, blah, 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 blah. That's not in there at all. And I repeated things constantly to say the opposite. So I just wanted to lay that groundwork of what the boundaries were, because I don't want to hear that's old shit. Yes, it's old shit. That's what traditional witchcraft is. It's going back, finding all the bits and pieces, the folklore, the trial records. I'll be talking about that. All of this stuff. And then bringing that here and figuring out how it fits on my path. Okay? The folklore itself. Because as far as finding folklore of your own culture, that's kind of hard, especially for a white person whose ancestors immigrated from 5 different places over here, and trying to piece all that together, and yet still hearing, well, you're American, you're white, you don't live there, that's not yours. Do you see how frustrating that can be? I mean, I have British, okay, which is where traditional witchcraft come from, Britain, okay? I have a little bit of Irish. I have Scottish. I have a little bit of Native American. I have a little bit of this. And then all of us have that tiny little 1% that came from one, central continent. But that's ignored. And when you're trying to piece together a traditional witchcraft path, those are the places you're going to go and you're going to pull that. Mine is the biggest one, is Britain, okay? And that's where traditional witchcraft come from. And the folklore and stuff you're going to get and bring here. Because other than that, the natives, the indigenous people who lived on this land, that's a whole nother culture there, even though they were in America, okay? It wasn't America then. And it's difficult. It's difficult to try to do all that when everybody just it's just karma and positive thoughts and meditating and, be one, hug a tree, and that's still other cultures pulled into here. And they're all great. And they're all good feeling and stuff like that. Been there, done that. I'm just rambling right now because I haven't wrote this down. But I'm still always trying to explain myself, it seems like. And I don't want to explain myself anymore. That's the purpose of all this stuff I just told you. Okay? And when you find someone, okay, you're looking for a path, you're looking for a belief system or whatever, you know about social media, the platforms, you go to YouTube, And you see it different ways. Okay, you're finding one that's talking about a certain kind of path. Okay, they're talking about, okay, you want to learn tarot, so you want to go that way. There's a lot of different cultures mixed in with tarot also. It's not all the same. All these decks are not the same. They have different cultures in them. Sometimes those cultures are not the cultures of the person who made the deck. And that's okay. You can do your research and find out the actuality of that path. That's doable. But you get on there and you find someone, you see one video. One video. It could be an old video being who they were at that time. Then you find a new video. They may not be on that same path and they got a whole different worldview. And then you find another video of someone else talking about the things, or that specific person with that worldview having watched one video. Do you see where I'm going with this? It is so complicated out there. And I don't want to be all over the place. I don't want to be universal. I want to be specific. And as I've come down this path and veered off this way and that way and the other way, in my age that I am now, I have now come to this fork in the road where I want to go left completely. I don't want to include it all in the same thing with the other stuff because it's not jiving for me. Okay, it's too much trying to be in all these areas at the same time. And it's, when I look at it closely, I'm trying to be in all these areas, not for myself. I'm trying to be in all these areas for other people, for the likes, the dislikes, the subs, everything. And I can't do that because I can't go all these directions at one time to please everybody, and I don't want to anymore. And so when you come here now, you are seeing the direction it's going. You come here now and you watch this video, go back, watch the first one with my rant in the garden, which is not, literally my first one. It's the first one on here. Then you have the candles, I think. And it's just, and you know what? When I get to be, hope I can get to be 75. And if I'm still doing this, you know what? I may decide at 75, I want to be more laid back. I'm tired of this, that, or the other. And I maybe become this radical hippie or something. I am allowed to do that. I am allowed to experience each season of my life how I see fit. And it doesn't have to agree with everybody else's at the time. Right now, a lot of people are really into the modern stuff. They're really into the Eastern religion, Eastern philosophy. I've tried to delve into that. I can't. That's not me. I don't even feel comfortable with it. Okay, and karma, most of all, pisses me off. That's another thing. If you do the research, you find out that what we have watered down of the Eastern philosophy is not the actual philosophy. We took it and made it say what we wanted to say. And then we do that, and we do that with witchcraft too, and we do that with any of the other paths and beliefs, and then we point at Christianity and tell them they did it. That you're doing all this. You're changing this. You're cherry picking. You're cherry picking, and you're making it say what you want to say. We all are. We all are. In a nutshell, we all are. I don't want to cherry pick anymore. At least not in this season of my life. Okay? When I get to be 75, I may tell technology to F off completely. You know? Start a commune. Who knows what I'll do if I'm still here? Who knows? Right now, this is where I am. This is my boundaries. This is what I'm doing. And this is what I'm going to do. And I cannot validate you, and you don't validate me. We validate ourselves. That is something I have really had to learn, to validate myself. And that goes with our boundaries. Set your boundaries. Tell people what you're about and do it. You know, it's like, put it in your description if you have to. I don't know, use the hashtags. If you need to, rewatch this again, okay? I need you to listen to understand me and not listen to respond. We need to do that more with each other, okay? Listen to understand. Listen to people talk about their path. That's how you learn about them as a person. And then don't turn around and take that same information and throw it at them. And tell them they're wrong, they're stupid, they're doing old shit, you're too modern. I am saying I don't do that. Don't care what you do. Some of the closest people on here are doing things right now that I'm not going to pursue, and it doesn't matter to me. And I don't want it to matter to them. Do it. Go ahead. This makes you happy. It fulfills you. Let me fulfill myself. And that is my boundary. And until next video, probably Sunday, do some more traditional stuff. Okay? See you then.